Since I'm at home all the time, I've been using headphones a lot more than usual, and I've got a lot of them that I can grab, but for the last 3 months or so, I've been grabbing these every single time. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Caleb Dennison, and those of you who know me know I love my Sony WH-1000 XM4s. They are a top-notch headphone, in my opinion. But like I just said, for the last 3 months or so, I've been picking these up every single time. These are the Bowers & Wilkins PX7 Carbon, and spoiler alert, I love them. Before I get into these headphones though, let me know down in the comments, what's the most important thing to you when buying a set of headphones? Is it the sound quality, or is it all the features that play into your day-to-day life? Also, while you're down there, hit the like and subscribe button so we can continue making great videos for you. Thank you very much. Now let's get to it. While the Bowers & Wilkins PX7 Carbon Edition aren't the most collapsible headphones, they still manage to pack up into a tidy little case, which, by the way, isn't just manageable in terms of its size, but it's kind of rigid, so it actually offers some protection, unlike another set of headphones that are out there right now. Inside the case are a couple of important accessories. One is your standard 3.5mm headphone cable, so you can plug in directly to a headphone jack if you want. The other is a USB to USB-C cable, which doesn't just charge the headphones, but can actually be used for listening as well. We'll get into that in just a minute. While we're on the topic of charging and battery life, I'll say that Bowers & Wilkins claims that these will operate for about 30 hours of playtime with ANC on. I found with ANC on the high mode as opposed to auto, I actually got a little bit less than that, but the bonus is you'll get about 5 hours off a 15-minute charge, which is fantastic. Bowers & Wilkins doesn't just call this the Carbon Edition because it sounds cool, and I think it does, but because of the materials that are actually used in these headphones. This is a woven carbon fiber composite, and it's extremely light as well as being extremely rigid. Bowers & Wilkins says it was inspired by race cars, and I get it. I mean, they are very easy to twist around, very malleable. I never worry about these breaking. But more important to me is the lightness. They do not weigh you down. These are extremely comfortable headphones to wear. Adding to the comfort are the other materials in use as well. On the ear cups, you've got the traditional leatherette covering up a memory foam. It's very plush and squishy. You get the same stuff on the underside of the headband too. So when you put these on, they seal well and they feel really great on your head. They also feel very good in your hands because they've covered the top of the headband and the ear cups with a really nice sort of woven fabric. On the exterior of the ear cups is another little design feature unique to the Carbon Edition, and that would be this sort of laser cut surround on the exterior of the ear cup. And then obviously you've got Bowers & Wilkins putting their name right there. So everybody's gonna know what you're wearing. I don't know how you feel about that, but I certainly have no problem with it. On the back side of the right-hand ear cup are a series of controls. The power button I like. It's one of those sliding power buttons, kind of like a rocker switch, which is very easy to use and turn on. You don't have to press and hold and hope that you get it to turn on. I have a problem with that on the Sonys actually. And then you've got volume up, volume down, and a middle button here, which pulls all sorts of tasks. So it can play, pause, advance, skip. Depending on how many times you press it, it'll also answer your phone calls or hang up or mute the caller. It's sort of a jack of all trades, master of none button, and it takes a little bit of getting used to. On the other side is one button, and that's for your active noise canceling. It'll cycle between off, auto, low, and high, and if you do a long press, it'll actually put you into transparency mode. That transparency mode, by the way, is very good. In fact, I'd say it's about the closest to the AirPods Max as I've heard. The AirPods Max, definitely the reigning champ for transparency mode, but these get very close. And then there's the noise canceling, which is very good, but it is not as good as the Bose or the AirPods Max or the Sony XM4s. Those three are the reigning champs in the noise canceling field, and it's hard to get that good. A lot of work went into that. Bowers & Wilkins did well here though, and honestly, with the tight seal around your ear, music pumping into the headphones, you're not gonna be distracted by your environment. Now, just like the Sony XM4s, there's an app for these headphones that will allow you to adjust the level of transparency mode so you can have that more natural sound, or you can really bump it up and pipe in the exterior sound. You can also manage your noise canceling there, but with the button on board, I don't see a whole lot of point. You can also rename the headphones, I think. Not a super helpful app. It does not allow you to change the EQ curve whatsoever. The sound quality of these is staying the way that Bowers & Wilkins intended it to. So these are obviously wireless headphones, and they support aptX HD, which is a nice audio codec. I tend to prefer LDAC, that's a Sony thing, but aptX HD is very good. So you're gonna get good sound quality with a wireless connection. And also it's Bluetooth 5 I wanna mention, but actually where I'm going with this is the wired connections. There are two of them, as I mentioned before. There's the standard 3.5 millimeter headphone cable, which you could bump up to a 1/4 inch jack if you wanted to. I like plugging this into my Dragonfly USB DAC so I can use it with my laptop or desktop computer. That sounds excellent. Of course, you're bypassing the DAC inside the headphones when you do that. But if you don't want to do that, as I mentioned before, you can plug in a USB cable, go into the USB-C port of these headphones, and listen that way. That'll use the DAC inside the headphones, which, as I'll elaborate on later, sounds very good. But the real cool thing here is that it'll also charge the headphones while you're listening, which is something that most wireless headphones just don't do. As for wireless pairing, they will pair to more than one device at a time. So you could switch between your phone and your laptop if you want to, which is a feature I think all wireless headphones should have, and yet many just don't. Call quality, or should we just call it Zoom quality, since that's what we're using them for so much these days, it's okay. I wouldn't necessarily use it as a tool that way. It's not as good as the Apple, the Sony, or the Bose.
Here's an example of what I mean. I think that it's doing a reasonable job of blocking out some of the exterior noise, the cars, the buses, and what have you. But my voice sounds a little bit digitized and a little bit distant, and that's not just because I'm wearing a mask, for sure.
Now for my favorite part, the sound quality. I love the way these headphones sound. I really do. That's why I keep grabbing them instead of the Sony or the Bose that I have sitting right there. They're just so fun to listen to. So how can I characterize this for you? Well, I guess they're just a much more natural sounding headphone than, say, the Sony XM4s. They don't have as much grunt in the bass as the Sony, but there's still plenty of low end there. And when you listen to bass heavy tracks, you're gonna get all of it. It's very deep and it's very punchy, but it's not, say, overwhelming. As for the mid-range, the very meat of the mid-range, right in the vocal range, is extremely clear, crystal clear, and very present. It's not overbearing in the mix. They don't push it out at you unnecessarily. It's just there and very transparent. Then there's the treble region. I have to say it's a little bit on the aggressive side for me. Normally I wouldn't go with something that is quite so sizzling in the treble, but it's not displeasing. It's just a little bit more than I'm used to. And ironically, I think that's something that I'm actually enjoying about it. It's a weird twist. It's almost too much, but it's very revealing. Like the brassiness of trumpets, the sizzle of a cymbal or hi-hat, it's all got a brilliant, bright shimmer to it that almost goes over the edge, but they rein it in right at the last second. And I think that's where a lot of the excitement is coming for me. Now, I don't have a frequency response graph that I can show you, but if I could, I'd say it's kind of like a roller coaster. It starts high in the bass, dips down a little bit in the mid bass, comes back up for the mid range, dips a little bit before the high end, and then all the way up into the treble region, it gets a little bit pushed forward. It's a really fun ride for me. So the Bowers & Wilkins PX7 Carbon Edition are priced somewhere between the Sony XM4 and the Apple AirPods Max, which means that they're right up there with those top tier headphones in terms of their price. But I think you absolutely get what you pay for. These aren't so much a tool like the Sonys are. Don't get me wrong, the Sonys are also very fun to listen to, but they're also a tool for me. Like when I get back to traveling, they're going in my travel bag every single time. But for just straight up fun listening, I'd say the Bowers & Wilkins PX7 Carbon Edition are like a toy, like a really super high-end toy. I just have so much fun with these headphones. Thanks as always for watching, everyone. What do you think of the Bowers & Wilkins PX7 Carbon Edition? Did you even know about these headphones before this review? Let me know down in the comments. Like, subscribe, and here's 2 other videos that I think you'll like.